Okay, we're going to keep.
Hi there, I'm Clavette, and Track Source has asked me to go inside the track on my new single Up and Down with my brother Dutcheast out on Deep Root Records. So I've got the project opened up here. Let's dive in.
So now we're in the project. I'm just going to play a little bit from the main drop where the vocals come in.
Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up for sure. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, down, up and down, up and down. Okay, we're going to keep doing this till we get tired.
So very high energy, and I think a lot of that energy really comes from the drums. Dutcheast and I wrote these drums on my piece of gear, the TR-09, which is a emulation of Roland's classic 909 drum machine. And that was kind of the main inspiration for the track. We were really just jamming on there and coming up with some ideas, and then kind of replaced some of the sounds, but really left the hi-hat programming that we made on that machine. So if I solo these drums for you. That's everything minus the kick, obviously. But there's quite a bunch of layers in here, and they're all kind of supporting this main hi-hat layer. And this is the one that we recorded on the TR-09. And everything else is just kind of supporting it. It's maybe enhancing the stereo image or thickening the sound. But, you know, we have roughly 5 different layers of hats, all trying to just really emphasize that kind of upper mid-range of the drums. If I solo out the percussion here, this is where I kind of think Dutcheast really came through. You know, this percussion is very much more of the minimal tech house kind of side of his influences, and that's really the balancing game we were playing the whole time, which was kind of my more classic house sound with his more minimal and tech house kind of sound. And so this percussion is kind of emphasizing that style. The clap, I believe this clap is actually from... That's more of a combination of the 909 with a couple different other layers. And then the snare, that's also from the TR-09. And that's really just giving some more of that jackin'. It's just kind of emphasizing the jackin' swing that we were going for. The other main part of this record is kind of the low-end energy. It's the kick and the bass. The kick is kind of it's similar to a 909, but when we recorded this 909, it wasn't quite cutting it for me. And this is a decision we changed at the very end of the recording process. The bass line was also something we recorded from my gear. I have the Behringer Pro 1, another emulation of the iconic sequential circuit Pro 1. Great bass line synth from the early 80s. And that is just playing F in a very rhythmic way. So there's not a ton of melody going on in here. And because of that, what I wanted to make sure I did was emphasize that tone in my kick. And so instead of tuning the kick drum, what I've opted to do here was basically push the tones in the kick drum and really bring out that F. So if you see, because of this odd kind of notch filtering going on and notch boosting, I'm creating an F in the kick. So if I were to take this out, you can see that it's not registering as an F anymore. So as you can see, once I add in that EQ, it starts registering as an F. So those two elements are both playing F, and they kind of are playing it in a very rhythmic way. Now, the other iconic part of this, outside of the vocals, is the build-up. And this was kind of an ode to early techno with the stab, and also kind of trying to emulate, some of the sped up action you can kind of create on a CDJ. So for any DJs watching who have messed around with the loop functions on a CDJ, you can create a loop, and then if you hit the out button of your loop function again, you're given the option to decrease or increase the loop size with the jog wheel. And so this was an attempt to create that. And it creates this really incredible moment of tension, which is then paid off with the release and the final drop. Just slowly are just getting quicker and quicker. Just over about 32 bars, it's just becoming quicker and quicker and quicker. The loop is truncating more and more. And to wash it out, there's a little bit of reverb automation going on here with the little plate from Sound Toys. And then right about here is when it starts slowing down again. And the payoff. Now, the one tricky part, if you're going to try and emulate this at home, is you're going to really need to be picky about the section coming back in. And so this took a lot of trial of error of making the automation so that it timed perfectly back into the original rhythm of it. So that is our track and a little bit of insight into how we made it. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that this resonates with you, and we hope that we can have your support on this record. Out now on Deep Root Records. This is Up and Down by myself and Dutcheast. Peace.